It has left a void in everybody's life. It is like the most painful thing that can happen to a parent.
He died on the floor of a restroom in a public grocery store, less than a mile from that hospital.
I listened to the message, and it was some guy telling me where I could find my son's body.
Several of us started realizing that there was a problem going on. I don't think any of us knew at the time how serious the problem was or how widespread. But my next door neighbor was a Fraser police officer. We were very close friends, and we would talk over the fence almost every night about what was going on in our community. And there were several deaths. There had been 9 deaths in a little bit under a year in the Fraser-Roseville area. And it was unusual because they were all deaths to opiate overdoses, which we hadn't seen before. And she decided that something had to be done about it and formed a town hall meeting that was going to meet at United Methodist Church.
Our former DARE officer, Lisa Pettis, decided to hold a town hall meeting. We invited numerous people from the schools, the courts, neighborhood groups, parents. We all met into a church, and that's where it all began.
Shortly before the meeting took place, there were 2 deaths from Fraser High School, a 17-year-old young man and a 19-year-old young man that passed away within a month of one another, both to overdoses to heroin.
Dr. Rapicki and I attended that meeting and sat there and listened and heard the stories of our kids, heard the stories and the frustrations of our parents, and those looking to us as a school district about what were we going to do about it. And instead of sticking our heads in the sand, we decided after that meeting it was time to do whatever it took to try to increase awareness and prevention.
Everybody was angry. Everyone was pointing fingers at one another. This was the police fault, it was the parents' fault, it was the kids' fault. Everybody was blaming everybody.
That meeting, little did we know, ended up being what is today the thing we refer to as FAN, or Families Against Narcotics.
To our knowledge, during all this time, though I might have suspected, he was a good kid, and we never knew that he did anything but hang around his friends, he did his sports, and we didn't really know that he did drugs at all.
On March 4th of 2007, our son told us that he was addicted to heroin.
But he was actually detoxing in front of us.
We thought he had the flu.
It was the flu.
He was detoxing right on our sofa. It's very shocking. It's very upsetting.
This drug is designed to take everything that you love, everything you hold dear, and take it away from you.
My eyes have really been open to the problem with indiscriminate opiate use and the effect that it's having on our community members, especially our young people.
I've sat in this office and talked with students who are Division I athletes and have had an injury, and they were prescribed a painkiller that simply caused them to get addicted pretty quickly. And I've had students, young ladies who are academically, 4.0, 3.5 and above, and sat here and tell me that, Dr. Richards, you don't understand. There isn't another thing in my life that makes me feel this good.
Growing up, I didn't think that, in my 20s, I would have developed a drug problem.
I can't even describe how broken my heart was at that moment to know that I had crossed the line that I promised myself millions of times I would not cross, that I am becoming the person I swore I would never become.
Because this is not what many people think of when they think of drug addict or alcoholic. Usually it's the guy on the side of the freeway holding the sign, "We'll work for food," but it's not a guy in a coat or with a collared shirt or who's half articulate. But that is my story, and that's who I am.
You know, when I was a kid growing up, I always looked at, you know, addicts as, you know, the people living underneath the bridge that had no family, that, you know, came from nowhere. And, you know, that was ingrained in my mind, and that's what I thought an addict was. And I sure as heck didn't think that I could be one.
They're good people. They had a problem. They needed help. They got help. But there's still a lot more people out there that need help.
These aren't throwaway kids. They're not street kids. They're your kid. They're my kid. Your next door neighbor. And it's really worth the community coming together. Almost every group that we touch, you can see a change in attitude. Police officers used to think, arrest these kids, throw them in jail, get rid of them. Judges thought that was the way to deal with them.
All good kids from good homes just making poor choices. And fear is what keeps people from getting involved. And we need to come together like FAN more as a community with other communities, you know, build bridges. I'll lean on you, you lean on me.
I went to the FAN meeting and I saw something there that I hadn't seen at the 12-step meetings that I go to, or anywhere else for that matter. It was families and parents and kids and loved ones all coming together, sharing a common interest, and being able to be open about what's going on and looking for help and being pointed in the right direction.
What I found at FAN was a support system. I was talking with families. I was given opportunities that I wasn't given otherwise, to go to high schools, to go to events, to talk, to tell my story, which not only I can only hope that it helped other people, but made a tremendous difference in my life. My self-worth, my confidence, all of that skyrocketed, which in the end helped me stay sober.
It gave me a chance to go to a meeting and speak with parents and police officers and judges and learn from them, and as well as have them learn from me and not be judgmental or critical, just be accepting of one another.
We were in over 100 venues last year speaking. Always the same. Always just sharing our stories.
And this is now our opportunity to partner with a community organization, FAN, in bringing that kind of education to our physicians to really understand firsthand what we are doing to the community and how we can really manage pain in our prescribing habits better.
As a result of the work FAN has been doing within our community, and also globally now as it expands both outside of Michigan and within Michigan, it has made a difference based on scientific principles, not only in terms of determining the root cause of narcotic abuse, but also finding ways to support individuals as they are trying to make decisions about whether or not they will be utilizing narcotics or not.
Young recovering addicts have to not be ashamed of the fact that they made mistakes. It is going to take a community to fix this problem because it's broken in so many different aspects, and it now becomes everybody's responsibility, now that you know about it, to become involved and to make a change in our world.